everyone, and welcome to another investigation. And this time we're going to be looking at, I always want to call her Lady Tyron. I don't know why. It's
Me
Lady
too.
Dale Tryon.
Yes,
It's
I
not
did that a
Tryon,
few
it's not
times.
Tyron, it's Tryon.
I actually
Um,
wrote Tyron as well, and then I had to correct it.
I
So
wonder what it is. From the minute I ever
interesting.
first heard her name, I've always called her Tyron.
Yeah. Well,
Or
I
Tryon. No,
only
not
just,
oh God. See what I mean? It's like
yeah,
what is the reason behind why do I get a name mixed up?
yeah.
Lady
And I did
Dale
too. I
Tryon.
wrote it as Tyron. Yeah, that's Thyron. Tryron. No, Thyron is what I was calling her, and she's Tryon. They confusing.
It's a wild one. Well, this is a wild case. I've been aware of it for quite some time. I've got a brief timeline, and you've got some facts and figures as
Uh,
well.
yeah, yeah.
Especially
Just
numbers
brief
as well,
notes.
because you love your numbers in
Oh
relation
yeah.
to um ceremony.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So Lady Dale Tryon was an ex-girlfriend slash mistress of the then Prince Charles. She died on the 15th of November 1997 of septicemia. 1997, as we know, was like literally just a few months after Princess Diana. She had a son that she named Charles, which I literally can't find any information on. I just
I looked up the records for Charles's godchildren and I found him. So he is
did
registered. He is
did you?
listed.
Because I couldn't find him.
Yes.
I found a Lord Charles Tryon, but it was one from the early 19th century. I couldn't find him.
Oh, okay. I managed to find the list. So he was on there. I just
Interesting.
wanted to double check that he
Yeah,
was listed.
interesting. So Prince Charles, well, King Charles and then Prince Charles, referred to Dale, Lady Dale Tryon, as the only woman who ever understood me.
Hmm.
Um, she had a history of health issues, was allegedly obsessed over Charles, a bit like Diana was, allegedly and all of that. She was
Hmm.
sectioned in June 1997, just as Diana's starting to go on her holidays with the Fayeds. She fell from a third floor window and she claimed, and you
Interesting.
said, didn't you, you'd researched this bit that other people had claimed that she said
Yes.
that she was pushed.
Yes, she was adamant that she was pushed. She
Hmm.
even told her one of her closest friends she was pushed. The closest friend went to the media saying she was pushed actually, and then she was invited to a lunch with the then husband before the divorce and 10 other people who said in fact she fell. So she would stop saying she was pushed.
Wow.
That was interesting.
She was detained on the 17th of June. Just backtracking, the 17th is the number 17 a ritual number or
Not that I know of. I know in June it's a June 21st, has always been the number I've watched out for.
what William's birthday?
Yeah, well, June 21st. Okay, June 21st. Okay.
Mm.
That's interesting too. And then the other interesting thing is the date that she passed was the 15th of November, when Charles's birthday is the 14th.
Hmm.
So that's kind of very close, very
Hmm.
close.
Hmm. So there's a lot of connection going on here. So she falls from the window. She claims she's pushed. The official thing is that she's fallen, as you do, from a third floor window. She is then introduced to a new doctor who is Prince Charles's doctor, who looks after her care for the end of her days.
Red flag.
Um, she then dies of septicemia.
Mm,
Um, and obviously then Charles started to build his make his relationship with Camilla more official. And those are the notes that I've got. But it's a very, 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 we were talking about it before we
yeah.
pressed record.
Mine's very, very similar notes.
Yeah.
Apart from I did look up, I wanted to just double check that because apparently there's been two sons that Charles is a godfather for. First was one of Camilla's sons named Charles. his godfather to that child.
Hmm.
And I even wrote it down. I think his name was possibly Tom. I did write it down and
Oh
I
yeah,
double
Tom
checked
Parker. But
that
is
he
it
was on
Tom
the
Charles then, eh?
um,
Wow.
yeah, yeah, Tom Charles Parker Bowles. Yes, yes, that's correct. So he's the godfather of that one, and he's also the godfather of Dale's second born in 76, named Charles. Mm.
Wow. Wow. I mean,
33,
wow.
33 godchildren. So there's a number right there for you.
Now,
Like
because
that's a
you know your
Master
numbers
Mason
for this
number.
type of stuff, don't you? So,
Yeah, the kind of the ritual, just from I've in the past looked these
mm,
things up. So yeah, and that's a Master Mason number. So that's probably one of the really significant numbers. Mm.
mm. Now, if we'd have done this reading 5, 10 years ago, we'd have gone, it's just one of those mystery things. But with the way that the world is now and what we're seeing with the files coming out, we're seeing women in a totally different light now. Even those of us that have been on a path of investigation, we're now really starting to see the way that women are treated within this institution in a very different way. Um,
Everywhere, really,
yeah.
all around the world. I mean, for decades it happened.
Mm. I mean, was she Charles's Virginia? I mean, I know she was the same age as him, she wasn't younger, but the way that they're discarded and similar ways and used, abused, deranged, etc. Do you know? Well, their word, not mine. Um,
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And then conveniently, covered over or whatever they do when they
mm,
want to clean things up.
mm,
So yeah, just they're worth nothing.
mm,
So she's an Australian born, which I found very interesting because
mm,
I knew nothing about her, nothing at all.
mm,
And my mother's really, she loves the royals. She married an English man. My father's English, so she's right into the royals. But I never heard of this Australian woman that
mm,
met Charles, and Charles done 2 terms here in Australia at one of the Victorian schools apparently. And she met him in 66 as one of the notes, because I thought, how did she meet him? And she's from Victoria.
mm,
She's from, I think it's 3 hours north of Melbourne. No, Charles went to a school 3 hours north of Melbourne, and she is somewhere in Melbourne, Victoria.
mm,
She apparently met him at a dance in Victoria. So we're close to
mm,
Melbourne is the capital of Victoria, for those that don't know. But yeah, she apparently met him at a school dance in 66. Then I thought, well, who I know. There's an Australian man that I did know about that claims that he's Charles' illegitimate
oh
son.
God, yeah.
His name is David. I wrote it down. No, Simon Charles. He was born in 66. He claims that Charles met Camilla in 65, which would mean that's the reason that he was
Yeah.
born to, he says,
Mm,
Camilla and Charles. However, Dale met Charles in 66.
mm,
So, or he was doing 2 terms in Australia at around that time, and she was very similar age to him in this very similar area. I know 3 hours is a big difference, but that was a little bit interesting as well. So, who really was he's claiming, and he doesn't know because he was adopted.
mm,
But then I found he was born in the UK, so I thought that was a little bit interesting, and he was moved to Australia with an adopted family.
mm,
So it might be worth investigating whether that adopted family has any connection to Dale's family.
yeah. But I
Hmm.
know who you're talking about. And when I look at it, that because I've looked at that case, um, when you look at the stuff over here, it does look more like a conspiracy. It's
Yeah,
presented like that. But is it
yeah.
different in Australia?
No, it's unproven. It's
Mm,
unproven, and he is presented as a conspiracy theorist, absolutely, no doubt. But when we're looking at this stuff that has been kept quiet, I knew nothing about this. Similar dates,
hmm
66 is when he was here. When she met him, Dale met him. It's just there's something there that just feels a little bit off to me.
mm.
Mm.
Have you seen Camilla's brother, Mark Shand?
No.
He's identical to Camilla. Let me get Camilla's brother up, Mark Shand.
Okay. Okay.
Because this is what blows my mind. I'll just Google it for you. He's identical to Camilla's brother. So Mark Shand.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do. I've been looking at photos of him, and I could also see Charles in him actually
Mm.
in
Is
Simon.
it? It's Simon Durante Day, isn't it? Let me just get him up just so I can. I
It
know
is.
what he
It
looks
is.
like. Simon Durante Day. Oh, he's identical, isn't he?
Mm, mm,
He's identical to Mark Shand.
yeah.
Even got a look at Philip there. Prince
Yes.
Philip.
Yes. So there's a few little dirty secrets there
There.
that have been.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
I
also
think he
sort of, I
was
mean,
a
I don't
bit of a bad boy.
if you've looked at the
Mm,
Queen Victoria stuff, but the Queen
no.
Victoria apparently had a baby with John Brown, and that's kind of unofficially proven with her
Okay.
man, John, with a servant, John Brown. And again, that baby was sent off.
Mm.
So it's a typical.
Bit of a pattern.
Also, as well, Dale Tryon was also friends with Diana, and they were swapping secrets.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen a few photos of them getting around together.
Mm,
And even photos of publicly at parties of Charles walking very closely with Dale. So
mm,
publicly.
mm,
And she met the notes that I found, she met her husband within a couple of weeks of moving to the UK from Australia. The one that she married, which was, I can't remember his name, he's the Baron.
mm-hmm.
Anthony. Anthony. She met Anthony within a couple of weeks of moving to the UK. So, was that arranged? And that is someone from Charles's inner circle. So keeping
Same
them
as pack of
close.
balls, isn't it? Anyway, it's interesting. I'm going to be using three decks in this reading. Stardust and Shadows by yours truly. Forecaster Oracle by yours truly. And the Investigation deck by yours truly.
Yes.
And you're
So I'm
you.
also using the Stardust, but the other one that I thought I might use is the governance.
Yeah, I
I
did think of
had
that
a little
one.
go with the governance to see how that reads. It's not really a crime deck, but it's more of does read royals and it does read governments and things that
Mm,
go on with countries. So
mm,
yeah, and it seems to have pulled out okay. It's picked up the Doctor. When
mm-hmm.
I done the little test to see which deck I was using, it's pulled up the Doctor.
And you
And I
didn't
had
know
no
about the
idea,
doctor, did you, till our chat, till our
did not
pre-chat?
know,
Because we had a
did
pre-chat before
not
we came
know
on.
that Charles's Doctor sitting next to this card here, which could be a young Charles,
Mm-hmm.
but a selfish agenda sitting next to the Doctor. So that did pull up. That's why I decided to use this deck because it seemed to be on it. And the bottomless money pit. So,
Mm-hmm.
anything's possible when you've got a bottomless money pit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Interesting. I've got three cards, and what I did, because I know on our last video you pulled some cards before, and I didn't do that, and I thought that's a good idea just to sit with the energies. And I
Yeah.
wanted her. I wanted Lady Dale Tryon, and I didn't get her. But what I did get, I got Charles. I got guilt, worry, younger man here. The guilt, the worry over something. What's he guilty over? What is he worrying over?
How do we
Um,
clean this up?
yeah,
What
contracts,
do we do with the
evidence.
records? Because
Yeah.
he's making records there. What do we do with the official records?
hmm Oh God, yeah.
Mm.
Now then we get the older Charles, morality imbalance, value distortion. So is he
Yeah.
getting plagued with this now with all of the Epstein stuff coming up, all the stuff with Andrew? Is he also worried that his stuff's gonna come up? And is that why they're possibly gonna be
Yeah.
even push Andrew further
And
into
you pulled the
the
worry card. Mm. That
hmm
sounds significant.
And I got running out of time.
Okay. Maybe some things are going to start to come out. And
There's
who knows? Then maybe there's a few more hidden secrets that have been managed to be swept under the rug.
it's well, do you know what? Have you seen Johnny Thompson?
No.
Well, I think he was called an equerry. I think he was an equerry. He was an equerry to the Queen, Elizabeth II. Um, and he's also been a staff member. He's been, I don't know what they have all these long titles, very close to Charles. And I always used to wonder if he was actually Dale's son to Charles, because Dale was actually quite an attractive woman. And I can imagine
Was.
a,
Yeah.
a dark-haired Charles and a young Dale could produce a quite handsome child, and he's quite handsome. And I always used to think, because I think he's connected somehow. Again, you
What
can't
was
trace
his?
his
Do you know
past.
his birthday when he
Oh,
was
let me
born?
see, Johnny Thompson. And he does look a bit like Dale. Johnny Thompson.
Because you would nearly think they would keep them close by.
Yeah,
And some of these significant babies born are Charles's godchildren. So I kind of went through the list wondering, is anybody else in here that's a
that's him.
godchild?
See what I mean?
Oh, okay.
That's Charles's
Yes.
hair, that isn't it? Think Charles
Yeah.
1970s with the
Yes.
it's so Hickory date of I can't find anything on him. It's another person that you really struggle to find anything on. He's 42. Oh, I do. I apologize. March the 4th, 1983.
1983. So William was born somewhere around that time too, wasn't he? William. William born 1983.
Hmm. So
Hmm.
William's born 1982 because he's born same time as me, and this
Oh,
guy he is
okay.
born the 4th of March, 3rd March, 3,
Three. There's another three.
1983,
You
3.
gotta you gotta watch these numbers, especially when you're talking about royals. Yeah, yeah, elites really.
Um, and he joined the army in 2006. Six is two threes. Now that you've told me, because I didn't realize that in our last session, I was like, oh, threes. I didn't.
Yeah, you opened your eyes and you start
Mm,
to add things up, especially
mm,
when big events happen. So and big events, and you see the news reporting, um, 33 missing or 33 passed, or
mm,
you just got to watch these. And it's, I think COVID when it first came out, we're seeing 33 cases. We saw a lot of that if you go back through it. Just type it in, COVID and the number 33 cases. It was coming up a lot at the very big early days of COVID. So the cards that I pulled out of the Stardust, because I was just doing a little bit of shuffle and trying to
mm.
work out which deck would be best. So I pulled, 3 to 4 cards out of each deck to see which one was on it. I got the King, King of Cups and
Yeah.
instability. Now, what's interesting about the King of Cups, he's the relationship person. So he's the one that's all about the heart. So, and we are talking about King Charles's long line of broken hearts or
Mm,
heart. So the King of Cups, King of Hearts, and the instability around him. Sitting next to a web of lies. Sitting underneath that is the draining card,
mm,
which looks like the lad, which there's a connection there to Charles, and it's sitting underneath the King of Cups. And looking into some kind of exit plan, or maybe connected to an exit plan.
mm.
Entertainment purposes
Oh, yeah,
only.
there's no facts in this video
So
whatsoever.
we're just card reading and having a bit of fun.
It's interesting because I've just pulled some cards on camera for their relationship. And at the bottom, we've got the chariot control.
Oh, okay.
We've got gone, not forgotten. But this is interesting because, again, I've said about she died within a few months of Diana chariot card gone in too deep. This is meant to be about their relationship, and it's all about the death. In too deep, situation goes deep.
There you go. And now that's making me feel her connection
Disappears,
with Diana
escapes
then.
unseen.
Mm. Maybe that's something to do with it, the window, the first attempt,
Fatality.
fatality.
So
Yeah,
I've asked
it's coming
about
up.
their relationship, and again, we're getting cards to do with her death. Um, could this be an energy of the fact that she doesn't even want to think about, she feels contaminated thinking about the relationship with Charles, and she can't get over the relation. That's why the energy can't bring forward because it wasn't a love story. It wasn't even just a cheap thrill. It was something much more sinister, or the ending was more sinister, and it's kind of eradicated the.
Yeah, the relationship portion of it. Hmm. Yeah, it's sounding a bit more like maybe she originally thought it was more of a relationship.
I'll pull a card for what does Lady Dale think of Charles now? What does she think of Charles now?
Yeah, actually, I didn't even think to get the connections deck out.
Climate to reckoning and genetic
I'm
biotech.
reckoning wants him to be held accountable.
Rising tide inundation at the bottom.
Uh-huh. Maybe
Genetic
she's standing
biotech
behind the inundation.
ethics. As what? Genetic biotech. Could that be tampering with evidence?
Sounds a
DNA
little
though,
bit
is
too
it?
like doctor.
Yeah.
The blood, the passing, how she passed.
Mm. Septicemia.
Mm. Oh, okay. I haven't tapped into her energy, so I thought I'll use the connections to do that. I've pulled the needing help to relax, which is that one there, and she went
Mm.
from addiction of painkillers
Mm.
to addiction of alcohol.
Mm.
So that would be that one there. So to help her with anxiety or to relax. And she was bound by struggle. So her life was bound by struggle. And
Mm-hmm.
she and the liberation cards are now showing that she feels liberated
Mm.
from that struggle that she
Mm.
had. That was her energy. So I just wanted to see if it was on her energy.
Yeah.
But how does she feel about Charles? See if we can ask her. Oh, I just pulled the drinking card. So
Yeah. Again, I want to look at their relationship first, and we've got again a card that signifies death. So it's marks left behind, masked, not true face.
lies.
Something was seen. I think there's something sinister about the relationship that we're not, because it's just weird that there's just, for a woman that was meant to be so obsessed with him.
Hmm. Interesting. So I asked, how does she feel about Charles right now? I was going to do a side by side on how she felt about him then versus how she felt about him now until I pulled these cards. I've paused for a moment. Her concerns are around a group or a family group. Sounds a bit like a certain company or a certain group.
Mm-hmm.
Then I've pulled the mother. So a connection to the mother of the family group, Charles's mother. Maybe laying down the law,
Mm.
maybe, telling him to clean up his image.
Yeah.
Maybe there was connections there. I just found that was sounds a little bit like she's dubbing somebody in.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
Mask, not true
Mm.
face could be the other face of the mother. Public face, private face.
Yes.
Um, that the mother had seen something and seen that this behavior of Diana, behavior, but it was all just.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, it doesn't sound like, I mean, I'm not saying she had a hand in the unaliving or anything like that,
Mm.
but maybe she would have, as a mother and somebody that is being groomed to be a ruler, a king,
Mm.
she would step in and say, this is not behavior for a king. You need to clean up whatever trail of mess you're leaving.
Mm. And then the darkness, Charles is the one that does the darkness. That it's almost like that energy of, I know what you're doing, but I don't know what you're doing. I'm now going to pull some cards on the death.
On the passing. Okay.
So the passing of Lady Dale Tryon. I'll do 4 cards. Ooh. Oh, the cards of it. Oh, interesting. The cards have exploded. I do drop cards regular, but look how ritualistic that looks.
And more than one.
Yeah. And we've got devil,
Masks again.
narcissist, rage.
Mm. And you've already pulled a mask card, and those two had masks in
Mm,
that card. So undercover of darkness
mm,
or suspicious activity, which is
hmm
what I pulled.
So her death, dark web recorded. So there's a dark web of them. There is records of it. Oh, accident at the bottom.
Interesting when you pull interesting cards. So interesting, something organized.
Deal organized.
So from the connections deck, which is her communication, she said she was resilient and held on. And I think that's something to do with the fall out of the window.
hmm
Take her out the first time.
Mm,
But there was a lot around her death. There was suspicious activity.
hmm
This is her either drinking, it says spiked. Now, spiked could be in any form. It could be medication that you're given. It could be all kinds of things. So,
mm,
and when you told me about the doctor, and I'm not saying the doctor did it, but I'm just saying it's interesting how, in say, like the case of Michael Jackson,
mm.
the doctor has gone down. There's all these different cases like that. And this one here is saying spiked. But then I pulled high ranking person, a king card that says king,
Yeah.
high ranking king. This is to do with her death.
Well-funded operation. So there's money. You've got the money card. So this is
The money
well-funded.
card.
Fight, conflict, argument.
Mm.
I'll do one more. No, there's going to be two apparently.
Well, I
Okay.
think she was trying, apparently, from what I read, after the divorce from the Baron. We've got two mothers. Mm,
Empress, mother figure,
yes. Yeah.
and jealousy or cheating going on.
Yeah. Well, she's saying, that's to do with the activities he was doing. He was
hmm
supposed to be the king married to Diana, but he's got this long line of cheating
mm
that needed to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
So that would make sense too,
mm
especially when it's coming from a mother saying you need to clean your mess up.
mm I'll do some for the death with this deck as well. Apparently, I've just got, it'll be interesting. The dates that Charles dies will be interesting.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
Mm.
Mm. So just to be
Youth.
fair, I'm going to pull one on the husband, the ex-husband as well.
Mm.
Mm.
Youth. Now,
Youth.
I genuinely believe that somebody has a variety of tastes.
Okay.
And I
Yes, a bit
think
like
that,
what.
yeah.
So what? Some things that I've got out of when I do the Epstein readings. The other thing that's really interesting about the Epstein readings is that as soon as we start getting drops on the Epstein files, we have Andrew all over the media. It's like
Mm.
he's the fall guy. It's
hmm
like all attention goes on to Andrew and nothing's done about anybody else. But when I do the readings to do with the royal family, I feel like that they're trying to cover up or they're worried about other things coming
Mm.
out
Mm.
unrelated to Andrew.
Yeah,
And
that
that
there
would
is.
really harm their image, the image of the monarchy.
It's almost like they can sacrifice him, but they can't sacrifice the main ones.
Correct.
Mm.
Correct. He's the spare, so correct.
Mm. And it's always been the case.
Yes, they've got to
Um,
keep his image sparkling.
recovery,
And I mean, people can kind of
renewal.
overlook infidelity as well, especially around kings, because there's a history of
Mm.
that in
Mm.
they can overlook that, but they can't overlook the other stuff, the
Yeah.
Epstein stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm. Shake up, Roxas. She has seen something. She is aware of something. Independent, alone, separate. She's isolated off. She's aware of things. Um, some people keep this quiet. Her and Diana didn't want to keep it quiet. There's
Mm.
something, a connection with youth here. Now, she wasn't young. She wasn't a young teenager at the time of dying. So why do we get youth? She knew
Okay,
something
yeah.
about youth. Then we've got like Jill Dando a few years after. Oh no, a year
Uh-huh.
after.
That's an interesting question. I'd much rather ask that on what did she know?
Mm.
What did she know? What was the reasons why? What would be the possible reason why? Did she know something and what was it?
So I'll ask the investigation deck then, shall I?
Yes, yes. And I'm using the Stardust because it's got lots of conspiracy
Okay.
and
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah. Sacrifice. She's aware of sacrifice and hanging. Um, check the timing. I'll keep shuffling, but check the timing.
well, check the timing. That's what I thought when I heard about the date of her death
You did
being.
say that, didn't you?
Yes, I said I wonder if there's something going on around whether she actually passed on the 14th, the ritual number, which would become a ritual number,
Mm.
and then they've said no, let's move it to the 15th to keep that date clean. I've pulled the high ranking king again, the high ranking
Mm.
king. So what does she know when it's a high ranking king?
What did she know about the youth, the Empress again?
She's playing a big role.
And a stranger unknown to me, traffic, you know what again?
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Abandonment, using and then throwing off, using and then
The Hangman card.
accomplice or had help, group involvement, and look at how they're feasting. They're
Yeah.
feasting.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So she's aware of
Especially
something dark.
we're starting to see some really dark things in the Epstein files now.
Mm.
I haven't read the
Web of
latest
lies, web of
stuff.
lies,
I keep getting that.
and accident had to happen. Well, yeah, these files are just like I don't know how people are keeping track of what's in them because
Yeah.
um
Well, I'm not purposely not reading them at the moment because my
mm,
cast last week said that the algorithm is going to be full of something that is going to be very toxic to our energy. So, and
mm,
I prefer not to give my attention
mm,
at the same time everybody else is giving their attention,
mm,
because what you're doing is together we're very
mm,
powerful co-creators. So when we all focus on something that's really negative or really
mm,
fearful or really terrible, we're all putting that energy together, and
mm,
it's that to me is like harvest. It's like a ritual harvest
mm.
to grab that kind of energy. So I refuse to participate in that kind of energy. And speaking of that, one of the things I don't watch normally is the opening of Olympic Games
Oh,
happening right now, because I think sometimes that's another ritual thing. Didn't find it to be ritualistic on the Winter Games, but something that was very, very interesting I did find when they were introducing the countries coming through, because I did watch that part, when they were introducing the countries, the woman that came through was wearing this long silver padded jacket. Now, I've been watching that new Ashton Kutcher series, the beauty series,
mm,
um, about it's like some kind of sexually transmitted disease that makes them youthful, that makes the rich and wealthy people youthful. Now, one of them got infected by this woman coming in that was infected. She was wearing the same kind of style long coat, knocked on the door, and then she went in and she transmitted the disease to this guy, and then he became beautiful. But I found that so interesting. I couldn't get my eyes off this woman walking these countries through wearing the same gown that's in Ashton Kutcher's movie. Now, Ashton Kutcher has connections to P. Diddy.
mm,
So, yeah, and then that's his new movie. And then another similar series is one that Demi Moore has connections to Ashton Kutcher. She has a movie very similarly about the substance. So
mm,
for youth and beauty,
mm.
they both follow the same kind of roles that they're taking. Are they trying to reveal some kind of message?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Olympic Games coming out with this same outfit that was in Ashton's series. To me, that was just, yeah, strange.
It's
Very, very
it's
strange.
it's very interesting, isn't it? I mean, I did
Mm.
read on the episode. Was it this week? I can't remember. Yeah, it would have been Thursday.
This week.
And I must
Yeah,
admit, I did feel a bit after it. It was like this is a bit too. And I did have to
yeah,
step back from it because
yeah.
it's.
That's what my card said. You may have to take a social
Mm,
media break
mm,
because the algorithm is going to get so intense that you'll
mm,
need for a mental health break, step away from the internet
mm,
altogether.
mm,
So I have done that anyway. I haven't looked at anything this week. But yeah, interesting. And some of the creators that have been going through and
mm.
reading it for 5 hours straight, 13 hours straight, they've said to people, I don't recommend you do that. So
How
yeah,
do they
not
doing it
not
for
good.
5 and 13 hours straight?
Binging this information so then they can make their episodes out of it. And I mean, I don't have a problem with that
Oh,
because
actually,
they're
I've
just
not done that. I've not done that.
me either. But I've also been looking at the Epstein stuff since 2011. When I first started going down rabbit holes,
Mm,
I found the Lolita Express and I never forgot the name of that plane. It always just stuck in
mm,
my head. And then I didn't even know who Epstein was at the time, but yeah, it's kind of just stuck with me. So I've heard about little stories all along the way, and
mm,
now they're all starting to come out in this recent files that have been released. But I don't think they're actually connecting a person with something that's chargeable. That's what I'm, maybe it's the redacted information.
yeah. I know this. Have you seen the? I don't know if you would have seen it, but the thing I mentioned in a couple of my videos that I question mark over whether he has actually passed. And this week there is a video doing the rounds where it's a man with a grey beard, etc. Now whether it's made up or it was
Yeah,
somebody else, but or
yeah.
whether it's just a distraction, but I
Uh-huh.
just find it really weird.
Yeah. I love a good conspiracy, but yeah, I'm a bit on board with that one. So
Do you
I'm
think?
I'm
Have
sus.
you seen
I'm
it?
sus on the passing. There was too many things with the cameras and that lost footage time
Mm,
around the camera. There was like 7 seconds or something missing out of the camera footage from the prison. The
mm,
moment he passed, there was something to do with the certain guard that wasn't on duty at the time. There was something to do with a car that came in. Yeah, lots of really unusual things around the time of his passing.
mm,
And I always think I looked at the ears of the person they wheeled
mm.
out, and I wasn't totally sold that it was him.
I don't think he's gone.
No,
I
no,
don't think Virginia has.
yeah, yeah, they say that, yeah,
Yeah.
about her. Yeah, I'm not sure about her. I mean, I haven't, I never been able to tap into her in spirit.
Mm,
So, but I'm not a full medium either. But when they come, they come. I don't
mm,
force
mm,
them either.
mm,
And usually they come to me in dreams. But I don't think I ever had a dream about her.
mm, mm,
Lots of very interesting stuff. So back to what the question was, what's she hiding? Did she know something? She did know. She knew she was holding a secret.
mm,
And I think she was probably note checking with Diana about
mm,
what that secret was to do with the high ranking
mm,
king
mm,
card. Maybe things that he'd done that he regretted a little bit. Maybe some
mm,
of the things that he participated in, he maybe did regret. And he wanted to distance himself. Now, I know this is not the distance card, it's the Six of Swords. It's about getting away from it. So getting away from the chaos or the drama.
mm.
And then the Three of Swords is the distancing card. So he wanted to distance himself from some of these things he may have engaged in the past. Entertainment purposes, of course.
Yeah, but it's hard to, especially when there's sometimes when you're doing it on your own, you think, well, is this just me having a moment? But when
Yeah.
there's both of you doing it, it's like you can't make it up. You can't.
And we keep pulling Mother, we're pulling some very similar
Mm,
cards. Web of Lies, we keep pulling. Yeah. It is good. It's good to do it with somebody else
mm,
because it adds a bit more credibility to what you're pulling when you're
mm.
getting very similar storylines. Interesting.
It is interesting. So what's your summing up of it then?
Initially, when I first read and I was making notes on the timeline because I just wanted to go. I was comparing to when he met Camilla, when he met,
Mm,
and then the birth of all the different children. I just wanted to stack up and see the timeline. And then I was learning a little bit about when she went and she was committed and had that fall, and the husband filed for a divorce. Then she was arrested on the way somewhere and locked up again. My thought was that's probably a convenient way to get rid of somebody that you're wanting to divorce. So my suspicions were on him, but he hasn't come up at all in the cards. He's not coming up in the cards at all.
No.
That's the thing. And you can think to yourself, and that's what I love about card reading, is because they proved me wrong. My thoughts going in was, I want to check the husband out. I'm a bit sus on the situation with the divorce and the fall, but he's not there. He's not there. Instead, the doctor sitting next to Charles. Charles is all over it. Charles is all over these cards.
Little shit.
And so is the mother. The mother's there too.
Well, do you know, look at what with Andrew paying people off and having him escort her into the church after the shit had really hit the fan. It's so blatant. I mean, I years ago used to be proper royalist, me, or until I started my ascension,
Exactly.
and it was like it took a while, but it's so
And
you
to
can't
say
do
that
this
he
job
doesn't sweat. He
successfully.
doesn't sweat.
You can, you can't do this job successfully and properly without realizing the truth of this situation.
Yeah.
It's so blatant
And
at times, and I try to
and be
deny it.
willing
Well, I
to
don't want to
look.
see it. I don't want to see it, but it's so blatant.
Yeah, exactly. And be willing to look under the surface,
Mm,
or under what we've just been told by the
mm,
main narrative
mm,
that's coming through. Once you're willing to peel that layer away and start
mm,
looking for other facts and things that are throwing red flags, like
mm,
psychically or intuitively, when you're willing to go down those rabbit holes, yeah, you may get called a conspiracy theorist, but
mm,
you're following your intuition
mm,
into, sometimes it can be pretty dark places that it can take you.
mm, mm,
But yeah, you're not just reading on, this is what the media says, this is the narrative, and fluffing it out a little bit. It's like being willing to reveal the layers as deep as they need to go,
mm. And
at the
look at where
risk of
we are
being called
now.
a conspiracy
Where are
theorist.
we going to be in 10 years' time? You know, what's going to be in the, I mean, if I'd have said to you 10 years, in 10 years, they said you'd be like, nah, not a chance, this is staying buried. But what's going to be out
Yeah,
in 10 years' time?
exactly. I had that thought too when I was putting the timeline together. I thought, I had no idea about this Australian woman. What's going to come out after he passes?
Mm,
What are we going to see then? Will he be linked to the files? Will there be a long list of different infidelities?
mm.
Who
Well,
knows?
she did he did the Queen's finances allegedly, and I think I've had a rumor that did Charles's. We're now seeing little bits coming out about William in relation to his charities and finances.
Mm.
Lady Victoria Hervey, who I think is disgraceful on many levels, has like literally said, I think it's this week, that if you're anybody, you're going to be in those files. And she's admitted that she's in them. She's horrible, this woman, honestly.
Right.
A
I'm
piece
going to
of
have to take a look
work.
at her.
I think it's Lady Victoria Hervey or Harvey. Well, yes,
Right.
dark as
Okay.
they come.
Okay. I'll take a look at that one. Yeah. And you know what? And I think that's the point of the files.
Mm,
If you are anybody, there needs to be dirt on you so you're controllable.
mm,
So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we start, if who's in there, really.
mm,
Anybody who is anybody, like she said, is
mm.
probably in those files. Yeah, it's very interesting, the people that are in there that are starting to come out.
And if you think of recent events over the past couple of years within the royal family,
Mm.
breakdowns, missings,
Oh yeah, yeah,
all kinds of different things, flipping
exactly.
outs.
It was interesting because when I was doing I diverted for a moment, and started looking at Rose Hanbury, just because I was
Eh?
I don't know what it was, but I was doing this research on Dale, and something just made me just divert. I think I wanted to take a look at her children's date of births or something. I don't know why. Anyway, I did,
Mm,
but I pulled myself back away from that. So, and I think that's probably years down the track.
mm. What's the date of birth? So I even
Oh
Google.
no, I don't think I looked up her date of birth. I can't remember exactly what it was. What led me there, I think, was inner circles. Charles's inner circles connected to Dale. And somebody said that it connected also to Camilla's partner as well. There might have been a connection there with Charles. And then I started thinking, well, is there a connection with William? Is there, who is he godparent of? And I started just kind of comparing next generation to see if they follow a certain pattern. But I quickly pulled out of that one. I thought, no, I've got to focus. Got to focus on this one.
It shows you how dark it goes, though, doesn't it? When you've got, I mean, we've talked some dark subjects of the past 2 sessions, and we've pulled out of that one.
I know, that's right. And it's just the royals. We're looking at the royals, and we find this all of this stuff. It's like, yeah, mind blowing. Little secrets that get covered over. And I mean, the cards are saying it. Web of lies, distancing yourself from things. I mean, he's all over these cards, and I tried my hardest to look into the husband. I did, and because that was my hunch going in, I'm thinking, I just want to suss him out. He hasn't come up in the cards at all. The cards are just saying no, he's not on these cards. So that's kind of, which I love about the cards. They don't just agree with me.
I've just pulled a little card for somebody there. On what you were talking about, William.
Okay. I'll love to hear about that one.
It's weird how we both get the nudges to step back on that one.
100%, 100%. Yeah. Untaintable. He's the cannot be looking there at all. Even though I was guided or something that wanted me to look, I pulled the browser down and searched. Then I thought, no, I've got to go back. But and I don't even know what it was that made me even think of her. But yeah, you can't go there at the moment.
Well, I one of the things I think as well is that there's so much for people to process now. It's to then throw that in could be just.
It's too much. It is too much. 100%.
Right.
It's like what we're seeing with these files. I mean, if you haven't previously looked at the files, you're going to be mind blown. You're going to be not in a good way, in a very dark way. So I pull back now from it because I've looked at it in the past. So I've seen the darkness of it, and I don't really want to go there, especially when I'm kind of just recovering from a low from a couple of weeks ago. So I'm really careful about where my energy is going at the moment. But we're seeing all of these little connections, and I think, it's very possible he's connected there, and I don't want to say his name. I don't want to say he may be connected. I've seen photos. Well, we saw photos last time. We talked about it. We've always seen Harry in photos with P. Diddy. And we didn't know William was in those photos. And that was in the last data dump.
Yeah. I've seen those pictures with William, and I've also seen where they've cut William off and just left Harry in.
Exactly. And I'd only ever seen the Harry ones. Yeah. I mean, that's the reputation. It's got to be immaculate. It's got to be sparkling. There has to be no connection to any of this. And that's what these cards are sitting right here saying. Charles was the same. He was treated just like that. Whereas, like we said, we've got the spare. They're able to be everything directed at them as a distraction. So we don't look at the main characters. They need to distance themselves from that behavior. It doesn't mean they didn't participate in that behavior. They just have to be not seen as participating in that behavior. And that's probably where the mother card comes into it.
Yeah. Interesting times. I think we've summed it up there. I think she knew too much. She had a questionable ending. Another sorry victim in a very dark world.
Yes. And I'm quite surprised by what the cards revealed. It wasn't what I was expecting.
I did, before I've been quite about this case for some time, there was a part of me that always thought maybe she just was a sad person that just drank a lot, fell from a roof, and just life was just, and she died. But there was more to it.
It's not showing that on the cards either. No. It's not showing that. It's not showing accident. It's not showing depression. Yeah, there were. I got a couple of alcohol cards that did come out. That was it. That was her energy, but
Mhm.
they're not showing that either. We're seeing a lot of darkness here. Hmm.
If you want to follow Trish James, I'll put a link below. If you want those decks, I'll put a link below in the description box. And yeah, if you want to comment below of cases that we could look at in the future.
Yeah, this one was suggested by a
Mm,
viewer.
mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
which
so
thank you for that. I've loved learning about this one.
yeah, yeah, it's there was quite a few others. Somebody had put something and they said like you could raid on this one, but I wouldn't. And it's like, well, don't suggest it then.
With
I
I
can't
still
remember
take a
which one it
peek at
was,
that
but I
one.
was like, yeah, we'll just leave that then.
Yeah, yeah. I always like to have a little look at the
Mm,
the rabbit holes,
mm. We could
whether I'd
do.
actually
Did
come
I ever
out.
suggest Jill Dando to you? We could do Jill Dando next.
No, I don't know who that is, but I'll look
How you
forward
have a
to
look at Jill
investigating.
Dando?
Okay, I'll look at that one.
Because it may be a good progression from this one.
Yeah. I'm
Because she,
actually surprised about how many avenues there are with the royal family.
gifts that keep on giving their service to the collective.
Exactly.
The charity work isn't just about cutting ribbons; it's about providing content as well.
Yeah, it keeps us busy.
Yeah,
That's
I can't keep up at times.
right.
Oh
Love it.
God, yeah, yeah. Happy. Oh, well, I said happy days, but it's not really.
You've got to
Reckon
be
the
lighthearted.
days of reckoning, the days of reckoning. So
Yeah,
yeah, we'll be
best
back
way to
in
look at it.
March.
Yes, yeah. So I'm away until yeah, first week of March I'm away
Mm,
for, but
mm,
yeah, I'll be back
mm.
after that. So looking forward to that. I'll start researching.
Yeah, Jill Dando. See what you come up with.
I will do that for
Yeah, I
sure.
think you'll like it.
Yeah. Thank you once again for having me here as
You're very
I yeah,
welcome.
always love our readings together.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I must
It
admit,
is.
after all, like you said, with all this darkness with the files, I was like, should we do a video? Because I was like, oh, but I think it's
Mm,
actually for all that it's been a dark subject, it's
it
felt a
is.
little bit lighter than the last one.
It is. But we've also kept it a little bit lighter as well. I think
Mm,
that's important for these times because
mm,
everybody's going through darkness in the collective. So it's yeah, important to be a little bit lighter about it.
mm, mm. Yeah.
Mm.
Thanks for watching,
Oh, I'm sure
everybody.
there's darkness there.
Oh yes. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.